The Big 12 championship game brought to you by Dr. Pepper, which we are not affiliated with yet. We one day hope to get there. And the I-80 boys over here. I'm Chris. That guy down there is Christian. Nope. Opposite day. Just like the Big 12. Okay. Just like the Big 12. Right when you think you've got it figured out, you don't. Not so fast, people. I'm going to start us off here with some Arizona State football. Chris, 2 years ago, Arizona State fired Herm Edwards on the field. I think they sanctioned themselves from bowl games. It was a weird time because of recruiting violations. And Kenny Dillingham took over after coming over from Oregon and has got that program shooting for the sun. I mean, they've just shooting for the sun and the stars here, man. They have done fantastic over the last few years. They've outperformed everything you could imagine. They've all kind of gotten it figured out in year two here as they've made it to the Big 12 championship game. It started with Sam Levitt, their quarterback there. Guy's been really great for him. Put up 21 touchdowns to only 5 interceptions. Your boy Jeff Sims has had to come in a couple times and relieve him. Hasn't turned the ball over, I don't think, every single time he's touched the ball, so that's good. In all seriousness, though, Scatabo is going to be their running back. Guy is pretty damn good back there for him. I want to kind of touch on a few things. We know right now that Arizona State is 37th in total defense, so pretty damn good. Just a little bit ahead of Iowa State, which Chris is going to talk about here in a minute. To me, there's an interesting thing that's going to come out today. Jordan Tyson is their do-it-all wide receiver. Okay, Jordan Tyson here, I'm just going to kind of scroll down and tell you what his stats are. 75 catches, 1,100 yards, 10 touchdowns. He's not going to be playing in this game. He's already been declared out of the game. No one else on this team, Chris, has more than 500 yards receiving or 5 receiving touchdowns. This is a huge loss in the most important game of Arizona State's season right now for them. Coming into this, looking at this, they're going to have some other people step up. They're going to have to be able to kind of keep the ball away from Iowa State in this one and be able to put up some points. Obviously, that goes without saying, but I don't know if they're going to be able to do it, the way they want to be able to do it. This is going to get really ugly when you lose your best player. I mean, imagine losing a Travis Hunter in the biggest game of the year going into something like this. That would be very devastating for a program like Colorado, to give an example for people out there. And all the 2 Arizona State fans that are watching our podcast right now, because we know you guys are a party school. Got to love it there. Chris will probably expand upon this more. I think anything when it comes to the Big 12 is a coin flip of a game. And truly, you throw all of the conventional wisdom out the window when it comes to the Big 12. Been that way for years. I don't know why. It just is what it is. Trying to pick who's going to win this conference every year at the off start of the season is a lot like playing darts blindfolded. Chris, with that being said, I'm going to throw it over to you. I want to hear more about Iowa State.
Yeah, Iowa State, you said it before I start this off. Both these two teams, and we said it in the beginning of the year before the season started, the Big 12 is like throwing a dart at a dartboard. You might as well take the 2 worst teams, BYU included. These guys, all 3 of those teams were projected to win 5 or less games this season. Look at this. I mean, you got Iowa State, and that's what I'll talk about at 10-2. They beat K-State last week, 29-21, to get them into the Big 12 title game. Only losses for Iowa State this season were to Texas Tech and Kansas in back-to-back weeks about a month ago. As far as the offense goes, you guys know I like to throw some stats out there. They're averaging 31.2 points per game. That's 44th in the country, 41st in total offense, 65th in rushing offense, and then 36th in passing offense. So fairly balanced attack there. They're led by quarterback Rocco Beck. This kid's been pretty good this year. Over 3K in yards, 20 touchdowns to go with 8 INTs. He also uses his legs, and he's almost got 300 yards on the year rushing, along with 7 touchdowns as well on the ground. Speaking of the run game, they got Carson Hansen and Abu Sama. I believe that's how you pronounce his name. If not, let me know down in the comments how I can't pronounce these guys' names. That's fine. But these 2 guys have done a majority of the workload in the backfield. And then as far as the wide receivers, Iowa State's got 2 guys over 1,000 yards this season. Jaden Higgins and then Jalen Knoll. These guys have combined now for 15 touchdowns on the year. Pretty impressive. Another thing, I don't think this gets mentioned near enough, Iowa State does a great job of protecting the quarterback. They've only given up 15 sacks on the year. Look, as far as the defense goes here, this is where I'm going to draw my conclusion here on my prediction at the end. Iowa State gives up 18.6 points per game. That's 18th best in the country. That's pretty damn good. They rank 31st in total defense. Now, where they struggle, and one of my keys to the game, like I just mentioned, Christian, Iowa State ranks 96th against the run. Now, on the flip side, they're third best against the pass. Some of that has to do because teams can run the ball against them. They're not going to throw it, right? Look, the key to this game for me is if Iowa State can stop running back Cam Scatterby. This guy's a stud. This guy's a bowling ball back there. He's fun to watch. He's averaging well over 23 carries per game. They feed him the rock. He's kind of an old school back. Nowadays, Christian, everybody likes to run the 1A, 1B type of running back system. Not these guys, man. Cam Scatterby, he's a workload back there. But yeah, get into my prediction here, guys. This is a tough one. I really had a hard time with this game. The fact, like I said, that Iowa State really, really struggles to stop the run, I got to take the Sun Devils here. I know they're out their wide receiver. I get that. I think Scatterby's going to have a big day. I think it's going to be close. So give me Iowa State here, 34, or excuse me, Iowa State 24, Arizona State 30.
Yeah, I'm taking the opposite approach here, Chris. Listen, don't get me wrong. Kenny Dillingham's done a hell of a job, his first 2 years at Arizona State. I think, when you get into a game like this, you have to lean on who's the more experienced coach, who's the coach you believe more in. At one point, Matt Campbell, head coach for the Iowa State Cyclones, was one of the hottest names in the country as far as next coaches in line, right? Obviously had a couple down years since then. A lot of people were saying, hey, back when the Nebraska job opened, he might be a name on that list. He was a name that was considered, obviously didn't take it, stayed at Iowa State, had a couple of down years. Now we're back here. I'm going to lean Iowa State, Matt Campbell, just because I like that a little more, with the Tyson kid being banged up going into this one and not playing. Give me Iowa State 37, Arizona State 34.